Obviously, I was very wrong, but quick question. If Park Jin of the Lazarus Group says he is holding a 3-month internship and training program for cybersecurity beginners and advanced candidates in offensive security, would you partake? So in my last 2 videos, I went in depth about how and why Bybit was hacked. But the truth is, Bybit wasn't hacked.
Bybit says that someone gained control of an Ethereum digital wallet.
So if the entire Bybit scenario isn't what I'm thinking it is, then what actually happened? And why did Bybit lose $1.4 billion and a subsequent $5.3 billion in just 1 week?
Well, here to make sense of it all.
As we all know, this wasn't some sophisticated, straight into the vault cyber attack on Bybit itself. No, instead, North Korea's notorious Lazarus Group pulled off a masterclass in social engineering and personal device hacking, something even some of the best cybersecurity measures can't always stop. And this is why I don't blame Ben so much, even though it all started with him, Bybit's CEO, he who was the final signature on a multi-signature wallet platform called Safe. And the reason it was designed this way is to avoid the eventuality of so much assets being somewhere on the web that could possibly be hacked. Now, the multi-sig system is a security feature designed to prevent a single point failure. Usually, at least 3 different executives have to sign, approve, and be present either online or offline for the transfer to go through. This was meant to be an added layer of security, but in this case, it backfired hard. Somewhere along the line, the CEO got tricked because everyone knows if you cannot gain access into any system, the next best thing is to look for the weakest link, which of course are the human beings involved with that very system. But in our case, the CEO,
is that it doesn't exactly shows the destination. It shows a lot of code. So it's not, so I checked the code, but I didn't check fully.
He made us to understand that he received a completely normal looking link that he was familiar with and has signed countless times before to approve transactions. Except this time, the standard approval page was actually a fake user interface. And the wallet address shown to him looked like it was Bybit's hot wallet because he actually did check. But in reality, it belonged to Lazarus. And I still don't understand why give a biblical name to something so unethical. Now here's a twist in the story. Ben did not just approve the transaction. He equally, unknowingly, gave them his password because they only wanted to transfer 30,000 worth of Ethereum, which was valued at $79,825,500. But minutes after signing, $1.5 billion worth of Ethereum was moved instead.
It was like, this is a colossal amount, like I've never seen this much money.
So either his laptop or his network had already been compromised, which further made him the weakest link in Bybit's security team. The hackers didn't need to break into Bybit itself. They just needed to trick one person who could approve the transactions at the highest level. And that is exactly what they did. Ben Zhao, thinking he was signing a routine fund transfer, used his Ledger hardware wallet to authenticate the transaction. These hardware wallets have a particular tiny screen designed to show you exactly what you are approving, no matter what is on your screen. The whole point of this Ledger device is to prevent scams like this. But because the screen was small and the process is a bit tedious, our CEO Ben Zhao decided to skip the verification step, as he made us know in his live session and telling us what happened and why it happened. And boom, $1.5 billion worth of Ethereum gone and straight into the hands of Lazarus Group. And since he accidentally handed over his password, Lazarus Group got access to Bybit's cold wallet, meaning that they could not only steal from the hot wallet, but they could now move funds at will without waiting for any manual approval whatsoever to move funds out of the cold wallets, which is exactly what they did. It so turns out that within hours of the heist, North Korea suddenly had millions of dollars of Ethereum sitting in their reserves. This wasn't even a secret because several blockchain security firms like Elliptic and Chain Analysts were able to trace the funds, proving that Lazarus Group was behind the attack. Even crazier, the amount they stole, $1.5 billion US, is roughly 5% of North Korea's entire GDP. 5%, which is enough money to fund their nuclear weapons program for an entire year. In fact, the UN has been monitoring these kinds of hack, confirming that the stolen crypto is a major funding source for Pyongyang, which is the wealthiest place in North Korea. And here's an even bigger problem. Lazarus Group is responsible for over 61% of all stolen crypto worldwide. The investigations also linked them to majority of the biggest cyber crimes in history, dating back to as early as 30 years prior. Just last year alone, they even made away with $1.3 billion US, and in just the first few months of this year, they have already topped that number. With $1.5 billion US missing, you would expect Bybit to be in a full-blown crisis mode. Unlike the empty gogs issue, this wasn't a total disaster for users. Still, Bybit knew they had to act fast. They immediately announced a $150 million bounty, offering 10% of the stolen funds to anyone who could help them recover what was actually stolen. And this entire fiasco isn't just about crypto. This is a cautionary tale for the entire tech industry. If a billion-dollar company like Bybit can be taken down because of one compromised device, what does that say about the rest of us? The truth is that most security issues don't happen because of some talented hacker breaking through massive firewalls. No, they happen because of human error, because someone somewhere didn't double check the details. This is something everyone thinking about working on their own tech startup should seriously consider. Security isn't just about firewalls and encryptions. It's about educating people. It's about designing systems that account for the human mistakes, because in all honesty, people will always make mistakes. So whether you're in crypto, fintech, or planning on launching the next big thing in tech, the lesson is clear. Never underestimate the weakest link. Never. At the end of the day, Bybit survived this, but the $1.5 billion US Ethereum heist is a wake-up call for the entire industry, because a lot of members are actually sleeping on so much potential to actually do some really nice stuff. If Lazarus Group can pull this off with just one compromised laptop and a convincing phishing attack, imagine what else they could do. And if you think that this was the last big cyber attack of the year, think again and drop a comment. Let's know what you're thinking.